What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome to Kandid Konvos. We're back to another show on this Wednesday. How's everybody doing? I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Chloe with us. Say what's up to the people, Chloe.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Bruh.
Wait a second. I got to pep you up there a little bit. What I
No,
got going on?
I'm having. I think I may be having some technical difficulties, so it's a little weird for me right now. I might have to leave and come back. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Okay, you wanna drop? Make sure you're on the five. On the five. Did you want to
Yeah,
drop
I.
some of that quick?
Let me hop off right quick, guys. I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I said, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Like I said, this is Kandid Konvos. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday night. We are on, man, I'm all out of whack. I'm your host, Quay Price. Like I said, we are on YouTube and we are on Facebook as well. So, man, everybody do me a favor. I need y'all to go over to YouTube right now. Go to the Quay Price page. I need y'all to go drop that subscribe. So I might have to throw the elevator music on for a minute while y'all go over to YouTube. But I said I need y'all to go over there and drop that subscribe. We're trying to get our exposure up. We're trying to reach as many people as possible. So yeah, like I said, help us out. Go over to the Quay Price page on YouTube. Drop a quick little subscribe. Better yet, I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds. I'm gonna throw the elevator music on. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to do that. Go over to YouTube right now. Subscribe on the Quay Price page. Go ahead. Y'all supposed to be over on YouTube right now. Go drop that subscribe. Go drop that subscribe. So then we're gonna get on into this show. All right. Appreciate that. I saw my guy Donovan went over there and dropped subscribe. We appreciate it, brother. I said trying to increase our exposure and our reach to try to get as many people or get to as many people as possible. I said so we can get these great conversations and this great content, to our people. All right. So we're gonna do something real quick, then we're gonna get on into this show. I had to get back to representing the sponsors. Let's see, we got some sponsors of the show, so we're gonna throw that up real quick. Basically pay some bills real quick. All right, shout out to Two Sons Juice Company. This is a cold pressed juice company based in Metro Detroit, all natural, no preservatives, no chemicals, only the good stuff. Anybody who out here trying to get their workout on, like I said, hit them up. The number 2 Sons Juice CO.com. The number 2 Sons SONS Juice CO.com. I said they're definitely servicing Metro Detroit. So definitely go check them out. And also shout out to Keeping Up with Chloe. So our very own Chloe got her page popping off. It is imcprice.wixsite.com. Keeping Up with Chloe. imcprice.wixsite.com, keeping up with Chloe. So she's got links to her nails and lashes. She's got links to her handbags. She's got links to her own book that she wrote, or her prayer journal that she published out on Amazon. So definitely go check out the site and support what she's doing. imcprice.wixsite.com// up with Chloe. All right, shout out to that. Shout out to the sponsors. All right. So let's get ready to get on into this. Shout out to Vince. Shout out to Janice. I see y'all checking in. Appreciate you. Let me also throw the link up for anybody who wants to join. Almost forgot. All right, so we got the link at the bottom of the feed. So you can drop this link in your Google Chrome, your Edge, your iPhone, whatever you own. Let's see, you do have the ability to cut your camera off if you choose. Like I said, we always encourage folks to leave their cameras on. It helps with the engagement, just like that. And like I said, we understand some folks might be scared, but it helps with the engagement, helps for a better show. So like I said, we're gonna drop this link and all of the chat feeds as well, so you guys can get to it. So let me do that real quick just to get this going. And we're going to get on into this conversation. Shout out to my guy Rodney up in Lansing, checking in, always representing. What's up? What's going on with you, bro? All right. So we got the links going in right now. So you can catch that on my Quay Price page, or you can also catch it on the Kandid Konvos page on Facebook. Let's drop it in your browser. What's going on, Vince?
Hello, sir. Hello, ladies.
Hey there.
Everybody muted over here.
Wait a minute. Vince? What's the fragrance of the evening?
You know what? I don't have a fragrance today. I might pause and go get one, but I'm unprepared. I'm sorry.
So check this out, man. So I'm gonna make that a segment of the show, man. So yeah. You got to bring us a fragrance every show. We're going to represent for the Godfather, man.
Exactly. She was like, why you do that? I said, I got to give my Godfather his props. But I got to come with my the smells and the aromas and what if it's oud or wood or, because he was really into it. So I have to do a little education.
For sure. And just to let you know, man, you do got a little bit of background crackling or something going on in your signal, just to let you know. I don't know if the phone is acting up.
Yeah, I'm in a new spot. I'm going to have to go back to my man cave. I'm in a new spot.
Okay, just letting you know, man.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's get ready to get into this. Man, we got another good one. We got another good one tonight. So, topic for tonight: what happened before and after the baby? I'm gonna run that back one more time. Topic for tonight: what happened before and after the baby? All right. So of course a little video came my way, so we got a little context. So we're gonna get on into this discussion. I don't want to hold this up any longer. So let's get on into it.
Say your name for me, Taja. Tasia, South Carolina. How old are you?
29.
29. You have any kids?
Yes, I have three children.
3 children. How old are your kids?
2, 5, and 8.
Same dad?
No.
How many dads?
2.
Was you once married?
I'm sorry?
Was you once married?
No.
Why are you not with the 2-year-old dad?
I was really young when we started our relationship, and it kind of
the 2-year-old dad. That's your last baby.
Oh, my 2. Oh, sorry, that was my first sweetheart, and we were just better off as friends. We still have a great relationship, but it just didn't work out as an intimate couple.
Okay, and then the other 2. So, which 2 are by the same guy?
My first and my last.
Oh, so y'all had So your 8-year-old and your 2-year-old are by the same guy, and the 5-year-old's by somebody else.
Yes.
And what happened with the 5-year-old dad?
Again, a young relationship. He was a lot older than me, so it kind of got a little controlling, and it just wasn't something that I wanted because I wanted my independence and, to start my own business, and he just wasn't there for it.
Okay, do you co-parent well with both?
Yes. Well, no, one.
One. Okay. All right, Taja, right?
Tasia.
Oh God, Tasia. Tasia. So, what do you do for a living?
I'm a 35 to 40. Mature, God-fearing, very family-oriented. Business-oriented. Sorry, my son is at the door. And just someone who has a head on their shoulders, someone who knows in which direction that they want to go in, a leader. I wouldn't say I need him to be extremely wealthy, but financially independent, and just driven.
Okay. What's some deal breakers for you?
Dishonesty, I would say. No drive, no motivation, non-compromising, and he has to be Christian. I don't want any other religion.
Okay, he has to be Christian?
Yes.
Have you always practiced Christianity?
No.
When did you start?
Well, I started as a child, then I converted to Islam. Didn't work out for me, and as an adult, I made the transition back to being Christian.
Okay. So are you following the principles right now? Like, are you not having sex in marriage?
Yes, ma'am.
So how long you been celibate for?
Been about a month. Don't judge me. I know. You have to start somewhere.
Girl!
Listen.
Okay, well, let me jump in with these questions, right? So,
okay.
Again, you're here to find a guy. So these are the questions that men tell me. So you're practicing Christianity. I'm assuming you want to get married, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So why didn't you think about marriage before you had your 3 children?
Because I was really young. I was 19. So when I had my first child, and I kind of tried to follow love and not, the rules of the Bible or, what we were supposed to do. And I just kind of got caught up in the freedom and just made some bad decisions.
Okay, so a month ago.
All right. We'll hold it right there. So, title for tonight: what happened before and after the baby? Okay. So, like I said, this video came my way, and listen, I think it is a worthy conversation, just based on some of the things that we're seeing in our community today. This young lady here, of course, she's on the Kendra G show. Shout out to Kendra G. Of course, it's a dating show, online dating show. She is looking for a new boo, if you will. Currently has 3 children. I think it was an 8, a 5, and a 2. The 8-year-old is by one father. The 5-year-old is by a different father. The 2-year-old is by the same father as the 8-year-old. So essentially, she had a child, left that man, got with another man, had another child, left that man, went back to the original man, and then had another child. And Kendra also asked her, you know what I'm saying, why didn't she consider getting married, or why didn't marriage come up, before she had the 3 children? And she said she was young. She enjoyed the freedom and all of these things. So yeah, I think this is a worthy conversation, because I said this is something that we see more and more today. We see more of our young ladies. Let me get this comment. Donovan Crawford, he said, classic case of delusionalism. Okay. I appreciate that comment, Donovan. But yeah, so we see more of this today. And I'm going to guess this is probably more than we used to see. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, we got something going on. And that's kind of why, I wanted to have this conversation, and the way that it is titled, what happened before the baby and after the baby. So I guess this is my question. I'll start with this question. It seems like, from what I see, because I see a lot of videos, I'm in a lot of conversations, right? It seems like everything is peaches and cream before the children. But it seems like after the children, everything just fall apart. And I'm trying to understand what's falling apart or what's breaking in that process, right? Because at the end of the day, if it was good, while you're doing your thing, then why does it become bad all of a sudden after the child? In this young lady's case, she gave a couple reasons why, things were bad after she had the children. But even in this situation, she doubled back. So I would assume that it was bad after the first child. Maybe I'm just guessing. But I want to get y'all input on this. What do y'all think about this? Like, what comes to mind when you hear this young lady's story and what she just said? Anybody can go first if you want.
Well, I kick off first. I go from my experience. I think this is a good topic. As you guys know, I had my first set of children when I was very, very young, 17 and 22. Same mom, high school sweetheart, yada, yada, yada. I think before the child, you don't even think about it. I think that we are not prepared. I think we're not having sex to make kids. We're having sex to have sex. So I don't think that it comes into our mind about children. Now, after the children, I think the responsibility comes into play. So I think that, especially and I'm going to speak for a woman on this end, I think for a woman, you can kind of be responsible with me, but don't be responsible with my kids, well, our children. And I think that when the responsibility comes into play, because I always say you will see how a relationship goes either after they have kids or after they get married, because then there's responsibility. There's a job involved. There's loyalty that needs to be involved. So I think before the children, there is no thought. And I think that's the problem with our community, that there is no thought before the children. There's no intentional dating. And dating, I didn't think you should, but as far as we talk about the kids, I think what it is that you don't think about it before the baby. And then you're not prepared. And then I can say with my second daughter, it's a totally different situation because I was prepared. I wanted a child. I was married. I was mentally, ready. I was financially ready. Totally different experience. So,
okay,
that's my.
I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. You want to say something, Chloe or Janice?
Yeah, I wonder if sometimes what we're seeing too is that we're not really, and this is kind of piggybacking off what Vince said, but we're not really taking the time to really know each other. Like we're not really taking the time to learn each other and to get to know each other before we put ourselves in a situation where introducing a child into the relationship is a thing. I feel like that's something that should come after you have really, really, children shouldn't enter into a relationship until there's a commitment there. There needs to be a commitment there. And I know people believe different things, and this is not to, tell anybody what they should be doing. But from my personal experience, it is better to have a stable environment to bring that child into, where two people are on the same page, where even if, they don't have necessarily everything that you might think or want to have when you introduce a child. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're ever really completely mentally or emotionally ready to have a baby, especially for the first time. But you can be financially stable so that at least you won't have to worry about how you're going to take care of that child. But that's the bare minimum to me. And we're not even really making sure that we have that in place. We're just kind of getting into these situations where we're allowing ourselves to be surprised by some of these, by these pregnancies. And I think that for me, I would like to see us maybe spend more time getting to know each other, because it to me, it doesn't, I'm trying to understand how you could go from being someone who is in a relationship and things are obviously going well enough where, a baby is entering into the equation. And then for some reason, sometime after that baby, the relationship sort of dissolves, right? And there obviously wasn't enough of a foundation there. There obviously were some differences there, and they probably already were there, but they were being ignored. Um, and now, of course, adding a baby into this situation just makes everything so much more real, which is why we really have to take the time to get to know each other and really, like Vin said, date with intention. Don't even entertain bringing a child into the world with someone that you don't even know if you really want to be with them like that. And I'm wondering if that, is a big part of it. Now, obviously, things do happen that might not be the explanation for all things. I'm simply just saying that I can see a lot of those different scenarios. And I think getting in the mindset of just kind of stopping that before we even get to the point, preventing that. Maybe we won't have so many of these situations where, we're seeing women like in that video who has several children and they're not the same fathers. And we really, it's not good for her. It's not good for the kids. So we have to really just start to think about, what that might look like, the consequences of our actions.
Donnie, you want to say anything? Or you good?
I guess I agree with everything everybody says. Based off our last Wednesday, I started reading the book. It's called like masculine Christianity, right? Not that I'm just super religious, but like Chloe, like you say all the time, like a lot of people say that, but what do you say? Eat the meat. What do you say? Say it again, Chloe. The meat and the bones.
Meat, spit out the bones. That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, of course. Oh my God. So there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with, but I can still learn new things, right? And so then it goes into this topic of basically femininity in America, where it started off with you got the 7-day event. What's it called? 7-day. What they called? And all those groups that were created by women, like all these are from when women did all these movements. And it talks about femininity. And I guess like I have 2 children, one's by one father, one's when I was married for 9 years, but I think I got divorced like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. But I think about my first child, I was 23, and I think about femininity and that what they're talking about when you bring in the birth control, when we introduce the birth controls to the women, and then we introduce the abortions to the women. And it made women be like, I have an easy out. Like I can have sexual freedom because if I don't want to keep this baby, or if I don't want to, it's easy. Even it gave men sexual freedom with a woman now, So I guess that my first shot I would think is based off of that. It was like, I had the foundation. I had great parents, but he didn't. But it didn't matter to me because I could have just got the pill or I could have got an abortion. You know what I'm saying? It was really just that simple. It takes the responsibility away. So I think sometimes we're not thinking about that because now it's easy. If you don't want to. So that's what happened to me on the first one. It was just like, but then I decided like, oh, you know what? Let's try. I had the foundation. I knew I would be great, but I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't know his dad was on drugs or all all those things that you just don't know about because I didn't know the person, And then I go to my second child. I married that man in like 6 months of knowing him. So I didn't understand his family dynamics either. And then once the child comes and now I'm getting introduced to his family and I'm like, oh, we don't have the same values. We don't have the same core values, oh, I'm not raising my children like that. Like education is important to me. All these things are important to me, but it was not important to him because that's not how he was raised. So I think for me personally, it's just not knowing the person. You know, I just didn't know the people. And then once I got to know him, I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna work. Because it was probably just more based off of sex, you know, sex.
Yeah. Now you know what? Let me do this real quick because that right there was very good. You know what, Janice, I appreciate you keeping that all the way real right there. That's what I was wondering, right? I was wondering, are we doing things out of order? Like that's really what I was wondering, right? Because I said you brought up some good points, and I wonder how many of us put the time in to get to know people before the sex is in play. And like I said, I'm glad you just kept it a buck because that was all the way real right there. And I'm starting to feel like that's a lot of what we're seeing. And I said I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just going off what we're seeing, right? And it's starting to feel like we just not putting in that time to really know who we are involving ourselves with. And you know, in addition to that, you know, pulling back or not having some of those long-term considerations. Because like I said, we all, you know, everybody enjoys, you know, a little short term. But you know, once you involve a child, that turns into a long-term situation. Yeah, like I said, and I appreciate you laying that out. Let's say, and shout out to Rodney. She made some great points, man. Go ahead, Johnny.
I was going to say also, I just based off this book and my thinking, a lot of these issues, I would say women, we're probably the biggest issue because we control the sex. We really do control.
Whoa, hold up.
We control the sex. Yeah. We control the sex with a man. We really do.
Wait a minute.
Did he do a
yeah, that's true.
No, my bad. Go ahead.
I mean, just based off the book I'm reading and just understanding us women, we really, due to this sexual freedom, we've kind of upside down, flipped around family dynamics now because of that. A man will wait if he really care about it, he'll wait. But we want to be like, we ready to do it too.
Gotta see what that do.
You know
it's wasting your time. Especially at our age, we ain't got no time to be playing around.
Wait a minute now, Vince. Wait 1 minute now. 1 minute. Okay.
Oh,
hey, it's important. That's keep it 100. We keep it in the buck. It's important. So
come on now. No, but you know what? Okay. You know what? Okay. So let's talk about that for a second though. For real. Just for real. For just 1 second. And I don't want to take away from the topic. But it's kind of tied though, right? Because we aren't, and you know, I'm throwing myself into the bucket as well, right? Like we are not taking the time to really, well, I won't say that. That's not really true in my case, but we do have to take the time to get to know a person before we become like physical with them. And that doesn't always happen, right? Because of some of the same reasons that you said, Vince, like we want to try it out. We want to make sure we're compatible physically, like all of those things, right? But is there like a precedent for we can learn each other? Like we can, because I feel like if you like what you like, right, that's what you like. But it's not like that person is incapable of learning what you like. It's not like that person is incapable of doing what you like, right? Like, so, unless it's physically, they're not capable. I don't know what kind of stuff people be into stuff, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know if we should use that. I feel like that's just a justification because at the end of the day, you can teach a man what you like. Like you can teach a man to do the things that you enjoy, that you like, and he can teach you to do the things that you like.
At this age, no. No.
God.
I like the point.
But you, okay. But at the same time, I feel you. But at the same time, though, at this age, and I'm not talking about the people on this panel, I'm speaking in general. But I hear you. But at the same time, some of these women, they have that thought process, right? But look at what's happening. You know, like they're popping up with babies with different dads because, you know, they want to try. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like at some point we got to do something different because what we doing ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
We can put all the men in some classes to learn some things. Would that help? I'm messing with you guys. Look at the men.
No, you know what? I'm glad you said that. So I got a question, Janice. I got a question. Like I said, I want you to be honest about this question too. Who is this on? So the situations where, you know, we got a man and a woman together doing what they doing, sexing, whatever. Baby comes out of the equation. You know, at that point, you know, and I hear the same stuff all the time. They grew apart. They was better as friends. They weren't compatible all of a sudden. Who's really at fault? I want to hear this from you, Janice. Who fault is this? Is this on the man or the woman? Keep it real.
Funny, Johnny used to say the man has the sperm, so he can pull out. He doesn't have to shoot it in you. I'm just saying. But in the big scheme of things, is both people. But back what Chloe was saying, I get what you're saying as far as teaching and all that in a sense. I think the issue comes at this age is that a lot of us have had sex with too many different people that we at this point it's hard because when you have some really good one, you're searching for that again. And you know I think that's another issue when you're having too many sexual encounters.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it hard to just deal with like mediocre when you get it because you know you got mediocre and you know what you done had before, you know, and that's another issue about having too many sexual partners. You're now comparing them to old ones, you know.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I also like to say that I hear from a lot of women and they say, you know, you have kids and then you say, oh, I don't want to have sex fast, or I don't want to have sex. And with that, you don't understand a man because a man is going to say, you don't have sex with somebody and it ain't take all this. So why I got to do all this? You understand what I'm saying? Some women will say, oh, well, I'm not going to have sex. I want to, but a man's ego is going to say, well, why I have to wait? You did it with this one in a week, and I'm a better man by what you say. So why I have to wait just because you done found? So it becomes an ego thing with the man.
So okay,
and
so
dating is also very expensive. So you don't want to sit here and put all your time because men's mind is she having sex with somebody.
Okay, that's terrible though.
But that's what I mean. I know you probably haven't been out here, Chloe, and you know
that's terrible.
Y'all was ways right. See, me and Janice been out there. So
I'm still in the street.
A man is gonna say, "Why I gotta wait?" You haven't because
my God,
a woman will go out with a man that she like, and then go home and call a man that's gonna put it to her. So men know that. So we're not gonna sit up here and take you to Ruth's Chris and take you over here and take you over there. Okay, what's up? Oh, well, I'm saving myself. You gonna save yourself for somebody else then? Because our ego is saying and our mind is saying we done dealt with all this before. So why I gotta wait and do all this when another guy can come in and don't have to do nothing? And that's just the messed up. It's just the messed up playing field that we put ourselves in by having all these different situations, and then trying to fix it. It's hard. It is hard because you have, you know, the kids got different daddies and different situations. He got kids, you got kids. And then, you know, then it's touchy on how you parent them, and you know, this and that and other might get along. It's best, and I tell my kids. I said it's best. I tell my sons, I said, don't go out there and sow your roll oats. Because then I tell them, any woman you have sex with can be your baby's mother. I don't care if you got a condom on. I don't care if she on the pill. Those are things are not 100%. So unless you want her to be your child's mother, think and protect yourself.
So I mean, I can't speak on that part. Like you're right. Like I guess I didn't take that path necessarily, so I can't speak on that. But it's good to hear that. That's the whole point why we're having this conversation, right? Because you need those different perspectives. And I guess I can't really speak on it from that angle. I guess I'll come at it like this then. All that being the case, all that being true, how do we start to reverse some of that? And not reverse it in the sense where you can go back and change it, but reverse it meaning you move forward and you make different choices, right? Because there's nothing we can do about the past. Like we can only go forward and make better choices. So with that in mind, right, it is a tough conversation because if a woman does decide, okay, listen, like I have made bad choices in the past, like I have jumped into bed with dudes and it ain't always worked out for me. And I really want to slow that down. So this woman might be just kind of looking at her life and going, I don't want to make the same decisions that I made before. I made bad choices. So she might be coming to you saying, I'm trying to slow down because before I was, I was out here like that. And so this time it's not that I'm trying to do you dirty. I haven't made the best choices, as you can see. And now I want to go forward and I want to make better choices. I think what happens is the ones that are still out here playing games, they sort of make it bad for those who are serious and who are about changing and making better choices. Vince, I know you said in the past that you and your wife, when you guys were dating, y'all sat down and had a real honest conversation, right? And I think that's important because if you are somebody who's been there and done that, and now you want something better for yourself or you want to do something better for yourself, then there has to be some real changes because what we're doing, it just isn't working. And what Donovan said earlier, like, and I think Janice, you touched on it. Sometimes when we get in these situations where we're kind of out here like that and we have all these different partners and these different experiences, it makes it harder for us. So we've created all these soul ties with these different human beings. And we have to let that, you almost kind of have to, you got to kind of cleanse yourself of those things. You do. I mean, you literally do. Like you have to literally cleanse yourself and renounce all of that in order to be able to move forward and not carry that stuff with you into, new potential relationships because it's so hard not to take that stuff with you. So how do we do that, right? In a society where we have the, men who are like, well, why you making me wait? Or in a society where you have somebody that's like, well, I want to try it out because, I don't want to get into no situation with somebody and we're not physically compatible, right? Like in a society where that's the thought process, that's the mindset, how do we keep ourselves from continuing to make the same bad choices and continuing to, get ourselves in situations where we're having this conversation, our kids are having this conversation years later?
Well, I think the one thing is like like you brought up, I think the one thing, with us is that we took 100% accountability. 100%. It wasn't, she explained. And for a lot of the ladies, you got to have a good story. We all made mistakes. We've all made bad decisions, but that story got to add up. You know what I'm saying? The story can't be, oh, this one was this one, this one was this one, this one. And it was all three of them was they fault. So it's something wrong with you then. Now I can understand the first one, okay. The second one maybe okay. But the third one, and it's all they fault. This one was a drunk. This one didn't want to work. You was young on this one. But what was your accountability? And that's one thing that stood out with my wife is that she took 100% accountability with no blame because she knew better. She said the first one, I was young, he was the dope man, he had money, I wasn't protecting myself, got pregnant, he was gone. Second one was because he treated my son like his own, and that's sometimes where you get the two kids and two different fathers so close together. It seems like the second one comes in and he feels that daddy role. So a lot of times, if he's feeling that daddy role, they might not look at a lot of the other stuff. So he came in, he filled that daddy role, you know, and she really didn't look at the other stuff. And so she was like, I knew better. I come from two parents. It was totally my responsibility. That's why, I can't put them down. It was 100% my responsibility. And I told her the same thing about me. I've always worked, I've always had money, but I was a cheater and a liar, stone cold. And that's why they didn't work. It wasn't because they ain't want to cook or they had masculine energy or they cheated. I always said, yeah, they did do it, but I say what I did first. And so once I decided, you know what, I can't want better for myself still being a liar and a cheater. I can't want a good woman and be lying to her and cheating on her. I don't care how much money I got. It's not going to work. So once I got myself together and said, okay, I'm not going to do this no more, that's when the Lord blessed us. And it's been a love story ever since. But we take 100% accountability. I'm the type of person, I'm not fake. I don't have no airs to put on. I don't care what people think about me. That's why I can sit up here and say I was a stone cold liar and a cheater. I don't care what you think. But that was the truth. And so a lot of people don't say, well, I didn't know this and I didn't know that. Well, you should have took the time to know. So it got to be, I think accountability is what kills most of us in these relationships. Because we want to point the finger first instead of saying what we did first. Like what we said what we did first. So it wasn't, oh, well, she didn't want to do this, she didn't want to do that, and I cheated. No, I cheated first. So whatever came after that, I had to chalk it up to the game. And she said, you know what? I wasn't prepared. I was in a broken place. My feelings was hurt. I had a baby with the one. He's a total bum. Has never seen his son. She said I was hurt. I was angry, and this man came along and he accepted my son, and we went on dates. And he said, "Bring my son with him," and so she got attached to that, even though he wasn't the man that he needed to be. And she finally understands that we all make mistakes, but we have to take accountability for our mistakes and try to teach our kids something different.
That's real. That's real. You say something, Johnny?
Do you guys think? I mean, just based off what I see and what I go through with my friends and just talking to them, do you feel? It's for the men. Do you feel women kind of change after they have children?
Good way or bad way?
I think it can be sometimes in a bad way for men because our focus. Some women, I know me. I'm probably an excellent mother, and I might be a horrible wife. I feel like I can go hard for my children, but I can care less about that man and compare. Like I don't know. I guess my mentality changed once I had children. Like my focus changed, my drive changed, and everything was for that child. I couldn't really pay. I didn't care about the man. I'm like, you're a man, figure it out. But these children are like my focus, and I have friends like that. Like their focus is their children. They love their husband, but so I'm trying to think. Do some women do we change after we have babies?
No. So I will say this. I think that there's. I can only say I think for some women there's definitely a change, right? So they prioritize the kids, and let's say guys do say this. The ladies prioritize the kids, and the guys kind of get the second hand, right? So they're no longer the priority, right? And like I said, for most men, what I'm saying, you understand that dynamic can exist, but I see less of that when there's a solid foundation between the man and the woman before the kids arrive. Yes, sometimes what we will see is a lady will change on that man after the kid arrived because she wasn't happy with that man when she had the baby with him. So essentially, when that kid gets here, she takes out, quote unquote, those frustrations on him at that point. So he get the second hand. he get the blow off, right? But like I said, that's typically because it was already problematic before the child was created. And now we just seeing it play out.
Or it was fun during the dating phase was fun. You're traveling, there's no bills together, there's nothing. You're just a lot of women now have men that they just travel with,
Exactly. And like I said, I think that's where we are going wrong, right? I feel like we have put too much priority on sex.
Yes.
And I feel like that whole, and I'll just call it the courting process. I feel like that whole thing has gotten blown to the side because we are so infatuated with instant gratification. Yeah, but it's like it just seems like we don't put in that same amount of work that we used to put in when you were dating somebody. And I'm speaking towards men and women. It's like we just don't put in that same type of work that we used to. I think that is catching up with us because, like I said, when you tie in this instant gratification that everybody wants, like everybody wants everything yesterday. Yeah, we want everything yesterday. We want the money yesterday. We want the houses yesterday. We want the German cars yesterday. Like we want everything yesterday. It's like we want the promotion yesterday. Like we just don't want to put in the work and be patient. Like that's just out the door. Yeah, fellas, like I said, they used to court ladies.
Mm-hmm.
They used to date these ladies, be picnicking and driving down to kicking it on Belle Isle all night, talking, having conversations. They was meeting mamas and daddies, sitting in the backyard, with your girlfriend's daddy, kicking it. Like I don't hear that stuff like I used to.
These men do not know how to court nowadays. And look, they think I'm stuck up. I'm like, where's my roses? Where's my flowers? Where's my cards? Why can't you make a reservation for a date? Like I want you to do, like, they're like, well, I don't get it. They really don't get it. Where are my flowers?
I'm after you, Vince.
Let's go there. Go ahead, Vince.
I seen something the other day and they said dating is not the same as courting. Courting was specifically for the purpose of getting married. Courting was courts. You brought your evidence to the family to say, do you deserve my daughter? So you want this courting, but you're not courting. You're dating because people don't even want to get married. Courting was designed for dating. And also, you didn't court 3-4 people at one time.
Right.
Because now you can't do that. You don't have enough money. Men don't have enough money to court 3 or 4 women at one time. Not really. So my thing is we want, and I always say this, we want to reinvent the wheel instead of just improving on the wheel. We want to say, oh, well, we don't want to do it like our grandparents did. We want to make the wheel square, and then we want the road to be soft. No, the road is going to be hard, and the wheel needs to be round. But we want to say, no, we don't want this. We want it square. We don't need to get married. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do that. And then when you get these results, you wonder why.
It's true. I mean, I want to come from the perspective too. First of all, I agree with what you just said, but I also want to expand on that, right? Like, what was wrong with the idea of, like, I wasn't raised to even entertain like dating, right? Like it was literally referred to as courting in my household. Like that's what it was. So I wasn't dating. I have never in my life dated. I only courted. So if I didn't think that you were someone who was even worth my time, I didn't even bother. Because I was very intentional about what I wanted. I wanted to be a wife. Now I wanted to date you long enough to know whether or not, or courting you long enough to know whether or not you were that man. But I knew I wanted to be a wife. Like I didn't want to be someone's long-term girlfriend. I didn't want to be someone's forever girlfriend. But what I'm saying is, okay, that was me. I'm not saying everybody has to do it the way I did it. I'm just simply saying that going back to what you mentioned earlier is we need to have more intention behind our courting, our dating. We need to have more intention behind it. I think the only difference between dating is courting is your intentions, right? That's basically what you're saying. So if you can date with intentions, you know what I'm saying? Like that might mean, okay, that might mean you're dating someone and maybe that doesn't work out because you realize they're not the one. But you don't need to be introducing things into this dating that are relationship things. And I'm going to say this from my personal perspective. Introducing a physical relationship with someone who you're not even sure you want to be with them is a bad choice because it opens up the opportunity for stuff like this. It opens up the opportunity for there to be a oopsie. It opens up an opportunity for a baby to be introduced when you're not even really, that's not even really what you want with that person, right? Which is why I feel like we have to date with intention. And then I'll make this last point because I actually want to hear what this comment is.
Yeah, but read it up. Go ahead.
I also want to say, ladies in general, because Johnny, you brought up a great point. Ladies in general, when we say we want men to, plan dates for us, and to basically make effort, like, make some effort, which is not, which is normal, that we should expect that and we should ask that. But I would say on the flip side, ladies, be prepared to accept that, right? Don't say you want a man to, put in effort, but then you don't like what he's doing, right? What do I mean by that?
The effort is different now. The effort is cash app and money. That's like the effort.
Right. And no, I see that's not, that's not real effort. That's fake. That's not.
That's what they do now. They cash app money.
Effort is still, like you said, effort is still actually calling me and asking me out. Effort is still, taking me somewhere, right? Effort is still, and it don't even have to be like, and so what I mean by this, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a $400 dinner, ladies. Can we normalize a man just doing something nice for us, like packing a picnic and taking us to, a nice spot, at the park near the water? Like, can we normalize that? Is that okay? Like, does it have to be every time we go out? Does it have to be a $300 or $400 dinner? Every time we go out, does it have to be, $100 each for concert tickets? Every time we go out, does it have to be that? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm speaking to the ladies too. Like, men, make more effort because she's not lying. That's absolutely true. And ladies, be willing to accept that effort. Let him be creative. Let him do something different. Let him take you somewhere that you're not nitpicking what he's doing. You're not telling him you're a broke ninja if you can't buy this. You're not telling him I don't want to, let him actually plan the date and you go along. It might not be your favorite thing. It might not be. He might strike out sometime. It might not be the perfect date every time, but it is his effort, right? So applaud that effort and be willing to, just kind of go along with. Sometimes, ladies, we're just not agreeable enough. Like, this doesn't mean you go for everything, you take everything, but sometimes you can just be agreeable, right? Especially if that man is actually trying. I'm not saying a man that just want to cash app you some money. But if that man is, if now, don't get me wrong now. I want some context behind that cash app, because what exactly did he cash app you for, though? Because that might be okay in certain scenarios, depending on what that scenario is. But No, but you're talking about a man putting in effort, which men should absolutely do. And I just want to say on the flip side of that, ladies, be willing to accept the effort that man is putting in, and let's show some gratitude for it as well. I'm not speaking for anybody on this panel, but I've heard ladies say some crazy stuff like, if you can't, if it's not a $400 dinner, I don't want it. If you can't bring the flowers to me in the vase
and the crazy
to me wrapped, then that I don't want that. Don't bring me no mixed bouquet. This ain't even roses. I'm like, ladies, let's stop with that. Right? We can't ask a man to put in some effort, and then when they put in some effort, we literally nitpick everything that they do. Like, that's gonna make a man not want to do it. And then for us ladies who don't mind taking them carnations and that mixed bouquet, because it's the thought that counts. See, then now we don't get no more mixed bouquets because some chick done went off on him because he brought a mixed bouquet. Now, when I try to date him, he don't want to bring me no mixed bouquet.
Hold on, Chloe, calm down.
I like flowers.
Oh my God! Well, see, the problem with that is, Chloe. I'm gonna tell you what the problem with that is, Chloe. And see, I think sometimes these women think men don't use their brain, and that we're stupid. They'll say all this, but then their baby daddy don't have a tricycle. It don't match up. Now, if every man you dated brought you flowers and took you to this and took you to that, then I'll say, okay, but don't sit up here and tell, oh, you got to do this for me. But then I know your baby daddy. He don't have a tricycle.
Oh, I will say this, you guys. I will be honest.
So come on.
Let me tell you something. I have been one of those women that have been very masculine. Like, if you ask my ex-husband, he used to bring flowers all the time, and I'd be like, those ain't the flowers I like. I like sunflowers. Why you keep bringing me flowers every day? I don't even like flowers. And then the next boyfriend, he started bringing flowers, and I'm like, and I put them on the counter. But now I want flowers. So I understand what you're saying, because it's not okay what I used to do. But now I'm trying to change my mind frame. But I was that woman, like, I don't want to go to Denny's.
But
I don't want to go Friday.
But see, now you gotta. Can we just keep it a buck?
Yes.
Come on, man.
See, now you gotta lower some of those expectations, because just like your boy, the Godfather, said, the man that you want something, and the first thing he wants is cooperation. And he want femininity. The man that you want. I'm not talking about the one you can get. I ain't talking about the one. I'm talking about the one that you want. The one that you will be quiet for. See, that's the difference. A lot of ladies want to talk about the guys that they don't really want. But we talk about the guys that you want.
They got expectations.
So then, and see, I'm an older guy. My wife is, she got 2 kids, and we ain't, we ain't perfect, but you gotta understand what they want. And that's one thing my wife has a total, complete understanding is what I want. And when she gives me what I want, it's my pleasure to give her what she wants. It's not even a second thought. So I think we have to realize, and then also, I think a lot of women, I think you really should just accept that beta male, because that's really what's going to work for you sometimes. I have a lot of female friends, they're big time realtors, and they're this and that. I said, I don't know if you can really deal with a certain type of guy because you're so used to being in control. So just deal with that beta guy you got and go and sell into the sunset. Y'all like each other. But the thing about it, they don't make enough money. But you make the money. You like being in control. So just do it and just sell into the sunset and get on out the way.
Can I say something to Janine? Janine, hi Janine. I remember me and Janine used to have, I think it was middle school classes. And I'm thinking about relationships and going all the way back to middle school and elementary, and how I was so insecure, trying to be this one person. I remember Janine, she was always quiet. You could tell she wasn't worried about being with, like, she didn't care about the clicks or being super sexual and all that stuff. And then I remember Anthony, who her husband is, and he was just such a good dude, you know, just such a good dude. So it would make sense that Janine would actually get a good man because she's following the steps properly, other than like all the other ones of us insecure over here trying to get men to look at us and being sexual at an early age. And I wish I can go back to those days and just be more secure with myself, because it's harder now that I'm older. If I would have been like that at high school and earlier ages, it's easier, you know, to bring that together and build a family together. But now at this age, it's hard. It's hard, you know? So I just like to say shout out to Janine and Anthony Martin.
Yeah, I'm gonna read her comment. Like I said, she dropped a nice comment. Like I said, shout out to the Caldwell family. She said, my husband and I courted for 6 years. I was a virgin and made him wait. Let me drop a bomb on that.
2 bombs.
Yes, sis. I made my husband wait too.
You did 6 years, Chloe?
No, I made him wait for 6 years, sis. I didn't do that. I ain't gonna cap. Not 6 years, but I did make him wait.
She said, let's see, we married at 25 and are still together 21 years together. Let's see, we married at 25 and still together 21 years together and 15 years married. 3 kids later and spiritually sound. He is, and helped to grow his spiritual side even more. I had intent and he respected the temple. And shout out to Janine.
Right. Shout out to y'all.
You know, Janice made a good point earlier. And I know a lot of fellas probably gonna be mad when I say this, but she made a great point. Ladies do control access to sex. Yep. So at the end of the day, ladies have a lot of control when it comes to what happens from a sexual from a sexual perspective, and when it comes to, you know, children, they have a lot of control over that. And I think, like I said, I think we need to get back to that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the relationships, the men have that control. Yeah, when it comes to the sexual interaction, the women have that control. And I think we have to get back to prioritizing those things, right? Like I said, this stuff is not a rush, because a lot of these things are lifelong commitments, especially when it comes to children. That's for the rest of your life. And I'm not just talking about our lives. I'm talking about the life of the child. Yeah, that's for the rest of your life. I know we talk all this 18-year-old stuff. That's for the rest of your life. Let me just keep it a buck. And I think we just have to get back to prioritizing those things and how we are interacting. And then too, man, we gotta get back to getting to know each other. Yeah, I don't even think we prioritize that anymore. Like, what happened to? I mean, I think with the evolution, all of this, like I said, this instant gratification, all these apps, all this social media, all this. It's like, don't nobody get to know each other no more.
And then once I get to know you, I don't like you.
Yeah, like it.
That's what's happening.
Like, and I'm talking about basic stuff that I used to see, right? Like I can't even tell y'all the last time I seen somebody walking down the street holding hands.
Right.
I ain't seen that in so long. Like I said, I can't even tell y'all the last time I seen a dude pull out a lady's chair. Like I still see a couple fellas holding some doors, but like you just don't even see those things anymore. Like I can't tell you the last time I seen somebody, a man and a woman sitting at the park just kicking it on the blanket. Like all of that basic stuff that cats used to do, to spend time and get to know each other. Like I don't see any of that stuff no more. I don't know if that stuff is played. What's the word? I don't know what the word is today. Played out. I don't know if it's boring. Like I don't know what it is, but it's becoming very evident that a lot of those traditional things that people used to do help prevent a lot of what we're dealing with today.
Yeah, I feel like it was just I'm sorry. I didn't know
I was
you.
about to say, I understand that we are now in this quote unquote modern society or modern mindset, but it's starting to be real clear at this point. We need to get back to some traditional at this point.
Right.
Because I don't think modern is working, to keep it a buck. I don't think it's working. Go ahead, Chloe.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say that it kind of goes both ways, right? Like, ladies, if we're saying that we want men to pull out our chairs and open doors for us and, do those things like, those things that show respect. I feel like we had a lot more just general respect for each other. Even regardless if we were dating or not, I feel like men and women just had a little bit more respect for each other, just as people in general. And I think that that's part of the reason why it was just a little easier for us to do those things. Somewhere along the way, we just started to kind of lose like that general respect for each other as people first, even outside of a relationship or dating. Um, and I think that is what um, aids to this almost like this, you know, um, where people just it's so easy for us to be you know, contentious with each other. Like, it's so easy for us now to say, well, men don't do this, men don't do that, women don't do this, women don't do that. There's such a lack of respect between each other. So when you talk about a man pulling out a chair, opening the door, like, those are gentlemanly things to do. Ladies, let's get back to doing, womanly or things that are seen as feminine, right? Like, let that man open the door. Why you rushing to the door to grab the doorknob, sis? Don't do that. Let him open that door for you. Why you running over to the side of the car? You in the car before he can even get to the door to open it for you. Allow him to do those things for you. Expect it. But if you're going to expect that from him, right? Because that's a gentlemanly thing to do, then you need to be able to do the feminine thing, right? You are to receive what he's giving. If he is giving those things, then you need to be able to receive. It literally is how we were built, ladies. Like, even our bodies physically, we were built to receive. But I think that has kind of gotten out of balance now. Like, even like what Janine was saying, there's no more chase. Now you got women saying, we choose. Women are saying we choose. And that's not really how that's supposed to go. I know we want to be in the position to choose, but that's out of order, right? We're not supposed to be choosing. We're supposed to be reciprocating when they choose. We do have a choice. I'm not saying that. We obviously have a choice. We can either reciprocate or not, but we're not the choosers, right? They chase us. They're the hunters, right? So it's one of those situations where once we get out of balance with the way we think and how we see things, then it affects our relationships. There's a reason why there is a divine order. There's a reason why that exists. And once we get out of that, regardless of whatever you believe, you don't necessarily have to believe exactly what I believe. I would like you to, but you don't have to, right? There's still a divine order in place. And whenever you get out of that divine order, that's when you see like this chaos, right? Because we are just built and structured the same way, a certain way. Like, and I think that ladies, I do believe that women in general are seeing this. I do believe that women in general actually do want to be in these types of relationships where they can trust their men to protect and provide for them. I actually believe that women do really want to be in these types of relationships. But I think what's happening is we're almost fighting ourselves as women, I'm speaking in general, not every woman, but I feel like we're almost fighting ourselves in general because society is just telling us something different, right? The world around us is just saying something different. We now have all these expectations on us as women that we didn't have before. Maybe some of our grandparents didn't have those expectations. Maybe some of our mothers didn't have those expectations on us, didn't have those same demands on us. So now, as women, we are in this scenario now where we might actually want something different for ourselves, but we're looking at the world around us and it's saying that our natural feelings and the natural order of things is incorrect. And I think that, a woman wanting to live in her truth, a woman really wanting to live in her truth is actually sitting down with herself, doing some self analysis, and saying, I have the job. I have a great job. Yes, of course, I can afford to take care of myself. Sure. Like I can afford to take care of my sick kids. Sure. And that in and of itself is nothing wrong with it. But I want to be in a relationship where I have a partner. I want to be in a relationship where I have someone who I could depend on and rely on. I want to be in a relationship where I'm protected and provided for. I actually want those things. I do want those things. And then after she makes that realization, she needs to say, but I don't know how to get there. Because guess what? Society doesn't teach us how to do that. Society teaches us how to be independent, masculine, demanding women. That's what society teaches us. They got plenty of classes and coaches and webinars that'll teach you that. But then when you want to go, when you want to figure out how to be feminine, when you want to figure out how to be supportive, when you want to figure out how to, reconnect with the natural balance of things, who's talking about that? And when people do try to speak on it, our first instinct, right, is to be offended by it. And it's okay, be offended. And then sit with that thing. Because at the end of the day, what we are doing as men and women, it's not working for us. We shouldn't be in a scenario where we're having babies before we really know the people that we're with. And then we have the babies and then we realize we don't even like the person. We don't even really want to be with them.
I don't like nobody at this age.
I ain't mad at you. People, I ain't mad at you.
Go ahead, Ben.
I'm really starting to think that some of our women don't really want a man. They don't need a man.
You think they really don't want a man?
I'm gonna tell you this.
I don't agree.
I'm gonna tell you why. And Quay will probably agree with me on this. A man of any substance who wants a legacy needs a woman. We don't want a woman. She ain't optional. We understand if we want our family the way we want it, if we want our children the way we want it, we need a woman, and 9 times out of 10, a wife. We need them. It ain't most of the men you see that's about something that's money-wise, character-wise, they're married. They're married. You don't see a lot of men, great character, great fathers, great businessmen who are single. You don't see them. They're married. There's a reason for that. It's because we need women. So I'll say this because, like I was talking to a friend of mine, I said, well, she's a young girl. I said, well, why don't you go to some places where the type of men, well, I got to do all that. Well, why don't you get a cookbook and learn how to cook? Well, I got to do all that. Why don't you go to the gym? It's a lot of nice. I don't know if they're single a lot, but it's nice. A lot of black men in their lifetime. Well, I got to do all that. I got to do all that for a man?
Lifetime's good, not Planet Fitness.
So my thing is yes, you do.
I don't care where you go. Go
Because-
somewhere.
Because if you tell a man, look, you need to do this, this, and this, and this, and this to get the woman you want, you know what he gonna say? Okay. He ain't gonna say, well, I gotta do all that. He gonna say, okay, how can I do it? If I want this type of woman, they say, okay, you gotta make this amount of money. You gotta have this type of character. You gotta present yourself this way. You can't be fat. We gonna do it. But a woman,
I don't think the issue, especially in the Maryland, D.C. area where I live, and it's a lot of women and a lot of men. I don't think the issue that women can't get men out here. It's not the issue. It's just,
no, wait a minute. I said the man that you want. See, we get anybody. Yeah, man can get anybody. I'm talking about the one that you want, the one that every woman, if you bring him in there, every woman gonna want him. From the chick at Kroger to the CEO or whatever he is. I'm not talking about these ordinary, just get a man that's driving your car and living with you. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking man that you want that can sit you down.
Yeah.
Can you get that one?
Those are the ones that you gotta fight with the other women for nowadays.
Yeah, you sure do.
You
gotta fight for them. There we go. You gotta fight for them. Yes, you do. So you gonna fight? You gonna fight or you gonna give up? You gotta fight for them. Yes, you do.
See, that was a prime example right there. You see, y'all heard how Janice just said that? That was a prime example right
y'all
there.
can have them.
That was a prime example. See, that's the thing right there. Listen, I'm not even mad at you, Janice. I ain't mad at you.
I don't know, brothers. And I listen, I'm like, don't you know we need y'all? Don't you know we live for y'all? Don't you know we can't have a legacy without y'all? That's why men want to name their sons after them, to leave a legacy. Why men want to? The only reason why I name if I have I have a junior. I can't name my son after my grandfather. His name Chester. I don't know if that'll work well. But I'm just saying though, men want legacy. Men want we need women. And we just want our women to say, we need y'all. We might not know how to get you, but we need you. Tell us what we gotta do to get the type of man we want, not these bums. Not these guys with 5, 6 kids and ain't taking care of none of them. We talking about the small percentage of men that are still out there that you want. Those are the men that we talking about.
Yeah, I think to respond to that, Vince, I'm seeing more and more ladies coming around, right? This is something that's been going on for a while now. The whole agenda behind, strong, independent, I don't need no man, mentality, right? So I'm starting to see more ladies now releasing that. I'm starting to see more women now talking about trying to dig into or trying to embrace being feminine, right? So things are changing. You know what I'm saying? For some of the ladies, some of the ladies are starting to figure out that they got to make some changes, and then things will start to line up, for the long term. So we got to applaud that. I can't discount some of what I'm seeing out here. I said then at the same time, you got a lot of resistance going on, right? Because at the end of the day, that was going to be one of my questions, to Janice when we were going through this conversation. We almost at time. We get ready to wrap in a minute, but that was going to be one of my questions. I'm starting to wonder, and I was going to present this to Janice. Do you think that because we have I'll just say a decent amount of Black women who have taken on this masculine position or this masculine energy, do you think that is playing into what we are talking about tonight on this show? Yeah, with these relationships starting out one way and the early on sex, and then the child is here, and then now they're not compatible no more, and he ain't gonna cut it, and we better as friends. Do you think any of that masculine energy is playing into what we are seeing right now?
I mean, I think it's all a combination. If you, I mean, even I'm only can speak as where I'm at now. Like a lot of the women who are, they got their stuff together. Sometimes they just might want that man for that baby. To be honest, a lot of them I'm noticing that is just for the baby because they're like, I can financially take care of him now. You know, a lot of women have that mentality too now, which is becoming a little. That's dangerous too. You know, like okay, I got the baby now. I hope my cousin ain't on here, but she just had one and she left after 6 months of the baby because she like, I got my own money. I don't really like him because I didn't really know him. And she's like, we'll be fine, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of things going on. Me and my homeboy was talking about today. I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we fix this? Like, me and him was even trying to talk about, how do we fix it? Is it the women? Is it the man? Is it the women now just don't trust men from the past things that men have done to women to this point? I think it's a trust thing with women, too. Are you going to take care of me? Will you leave me for that next woman and create another family? Because men did that. Are you going to keep abusing me? Are you going to keep molesting me? Are you going to keep doing all these things that men have done in the past that women had to become stronger now. But women weren't taught to take care of a man. So that's where another issue is. Men were taught to take care of us. A man can meet a woman at the bus stop and marry her and they can have a great family. How does a woman, when you're not taught to take care of a man? There's a whole nother issue with mentality, you know?
That's real. That's real.
So I have a question for that, right? So I believe there's like a whole lot of validity to that. I do believe that there hasn't been enough focus on teaching women how to take care of, like how to be homemakers. Like for real. I don't think that there has been enough attention on that because like I was saying earlier, I feel like all society really is showing women is, you know, how to, you know, what to do with their bodies, you know, how to apply their makeup and like all this. Huh?
How to basically take over America.
Yeah, and my thing is like, don't get me wrong, like it's nothing wrong with women wanting to work or have something for themselves. Like that's not even what I'm saying. But why aren't we also focusing on, you know, teaching women how to nurture their children properly and to nurture a family and to command a home? Because really, that's what we were kind of bred for. Like that's why we were created with a more emotional nature because we are the nurturers, but there isn't enough direction or teaching on what that actually looks like. And since we do have a lot of homes where not everybody saw that growing up, so it isn't instinctual for every person because not everybody had that example. Some did, some didn't. So if you didn't have an example of what that looks like, you might struggle a bit. So why aren't we making that more of a priority for women to learn? And then two, on the flip side, why do you think there are women? Because there are some resources available, but why do you think women aren't seeking out the opportunity to learn?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Chloe. This the Supreme Court justice, and I know Kamala Harris is married to a white man. Is the Supreme Court justice, is she married to a white man also? Or
yes. Yes.
So that's what I'm also noticing is a dangerous trend for Black people, especially the Black women. I've noticed now because of this breakdown in the dynamics, and I've heard a lot of Black women that are powerful now. They're like, I'm just going to get a white man.
They're not going. Wait a minute.
White man will. They will take a strong, aggressive Black woman. That's what they do. They don't have no problem.
But my thing is, if you're waiting for that
Lord, it's not hard. That's not hard. They love us. So that's what I'm saying. That's becoming a dangerous. What I'm saying is, it's dangerous for the Black family. Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous. That's a lot of women. Black women that are getting powerful, they're like, okay, well, cool. I'll just go get me a white man. And that's dangerous for us. Mm-hmm. I know Vince don't like it, but that's just...
No. Listen, let me say this question. It's not... And I figured this out. It's not the race. It's the culture. It's not the race. It's the culture. It's not because they're white, it's because of their culture. Like some black men will say they go to white women because they treat them better. It's just like I had a friend. Like, I don't know if I told y'all this story. I had a friend. He was dating a lady up in Michigan State. We went up there. She had cooked us breakfast. Had had our fruit out, and me and my homeboy was like, she do all this for you, but then when we went around her family, that's what her family does. And like my wife was raised in a 2-parent household. My wife is very nurturing. She cooks. Some people might say, well, you act white or whatever. But my thing, that's such a small percentage that if you're waiting for that, it's such a very, very small percentage. And most of the women are women on a certain level that most of our friends will never get to. We talking about this lady went to Harvard. She met him at Harvard. She ain't met him at the Secretary of State. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're gonna wait on, and then it's crazy because we think our oppressors are gonna treat us better than the black man. Wait a minute. They abuse by percentage. They abuse their women more than black men.
But it's a culture
women more than black men.
But Vince, you said culturally,
because of the society and because the white man has been shown to love a black woman. And see, that's the crazy thing about that TV. That TV has distorted our minds so much.
I don't even watch TV.
We don't think that who oppressed us for 400 years still oppressing us. The main man that's taking y'all rights, Roe v. Wade, is the white man. But that man is the man that's gonna love y'all better than the black man.
It's a cultural power thing, like you just said. The white man got power, and it's a power. It's a cultural power thing. The white man still has that family foundation. Remember, Vince,
but
still
you
has that
don't.
family
But
foundation.
the black women don't.
You just said everything.
Y'all say, okay, these ladies talk about, well, they ain't gonna get a white man. I want to see a percentage that means something to go out there and get a white man.
It's not hard.
Okay, let me.
If it wasn't hard, then most of y'all be married to a white man. Then, if it wasn't hard,
let me put the wraps on this. Let me put the wraps on this. So to respond to Janice on this. So
Lord have mercy.
in those situations, there is a such thing as approval, right? So we cannot forget that. So some of these ladies that we are quote unquote seeing in power now, they had to do something to get approval. And sometimes that is the approval. Now, that does not mean that man is treating her any better. It doesn't mean that man is right for her. Let's say at the end of the day, that man can't even understand her struggles, right? So there's already a disconnect. But in order to get to a certain position, because I mean, we can say the same thing about Clarence Thomas if we just want to do that. Because he got him a Karen too, right? So we can just we can call it what it is. But there's a certain thing as approval. But at the end of the day, our strength is in each other.
Agree.
Right. So going back to Vince's point earlier, let's say we'll get ready to wrap. Black men are not going around talking about they don't need black women. They're not saying that. Let me put these myths to bed. Now, they are saying that they frustrated with y'all. They are saying that they want y'all to be more cooperative. They want y'all to be more fit. They want y'all to be more feminine. They want y'all to be more natural. But at no point have they said that they do not want black women. Now, at the same time, black women are definitely going around, not all, but a substantial amount are going around talking about they don't need black men. Yep, they talking about they independent, they got their own money, their own house, their own cars, they can take care of the kids by themselves and all this and all of that. And I think that is one of the pieces that we got to tackle. Yep, at the end of the day, Black women do need Black men. Yep, we understand each other. We understand each other's struggles. We are literally created for each other, and we are not going to be able to escape that. 2, these children that we are creating, they need their Black parents, preferably in the same household, in a union. And that is when we see the best outcome for our children. So we got to get back to that. Yeah, we got to get back to that. Yeah, we got to stop saying we don't need each other. That's a cap. Let me find my little sound effect.
Stop the cap.
That's a cap. If I think deep down inside, if ladies really think about it, they need Black men. They do. Keep it a buck. We're gonna take these closing statements. Let's say it's like 10-10 up here in the Midwest. We're gonna take these closing statements. I'm gonna start with the ladies first. We're gonna start with Janice, go to Chloe, then we're gonna go down to Vince. Janice, you want to say anything in closing before we get out of here?
My closing is I would prefer a Black man, but in the end, I'm just gonna prefer a man that's gonna be what I need at this point in life. Vince. So okay, that's just how I feel at this point. But I do understand the dynamics. I was married to an Asian for 9 years, and I was like, oh, I need a Black man. And then now I'm back dating, trying to be with a Black man, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. Maybe I should go get a white man now, like, because it is a struggle. I feel like I have more of a struggle with Black men. It's just a struggle, and maybe it's the Black men that I'm dating. You know, maybe it's a lot of the Black men aren't raised by their fathers, which I'm finding the biggest issue for me. When they weren't raised by their fathers, we just don't see eye to eye, you know? Yeah. Just like
in what way? Well, what do you think is missing?
Like when you have a great father, you know, like open the door, do this, do these things. Don't run around calling women bitches. Don't do like they just be like stuff that you should know, but they weren't trained properly. It doesn't make them not bad men. You know, like even the guy you saw come on, he's like, okay, well, teach me how to do these things. And I get it, but I'm like, I don't really want to teach you. You should know better at this age. But, I get it. You didn't have a father, so it's like, but at least he's willing to learn. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's where my breakdown come in. Is like, they don't have that same foundation I have. So it's just a struggle with me. You know, and I'm not saying I'm the easiest woman either. I'm not easy. You know, but I feel like, you know, I'm not easy. So why, you know what I'm saying? You can tell when women are easy and when they're not easy. Look at on my nerves. But I do understand. I wish we could take it to back in the day. I don't think it's any way to reverse or go backward at this point, especially with Black women. They're just going up higher. They're just going way too high to the point that we have to find a way to. I think we have to find a way more to retrain Black women. I think we'll be easier to retrain than it is the Black man. Retrain us in the sense of being okay if a man is a custodian worker, you know, but he's a good dude. You might be making 6 figures or higher. He may be only making 45, but he's going to support, protect you, treat your children like his own, teach them, and things like that. Like, can we be okay with a man not making the same figures as we do? You know, I think that's the biggest. That's one.
You gonna have to be okay with it.
I mean, right now they not. They just not dating nobody. I mean, they just messing around with dudes or messing around with married men who have the money or stuff like that. But I mean, I've had dudes that try to talk to me as a custodian guy, or I'm like, can I do it? Can I really do it? Can I try? You know?
Yeah, but
and it's something that I have to try to work on mentally is how do I make it that it's okay? And that's where I'm at in my life. How do I make it okay? I don't know. And I'm still working on that to try to figure it out.
And I can understand that, but I think this is the issue. Listen, you made a good point, but we got to break that point down. So you said a lot of Black women are going higher, right? when you made that statement, you're making reference to money. So we've got a lot of our Black women going higher financially,
Yes.
but then they're falling off on their woman qualities.
Yes.
Then are they really going higher?
Right.
See, that's
It depends on what your
part of-
what your goal is to be high. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying I think it's easier to help women fix this issue than it would be for a man.
No, I feel what you're saying, but that's the point I'm making is we are basing everything off of money, right? So if we have a lot of our Black women making more money, now they for to a certain extent will now look down on Black men because they're not making as much. But at the same time, that Black man not making as much money may really have the manly leadership qualities of a real man, but we ready to frown on him because he only making $50,000 a year. And see, that's my point. So at the same time with that guy, he's now looking at this lady that's making this 120,000, but she ain't feminine, she masculine, she not cooperative. You know, she's got whatever other stuff going on. So all of those things that man may be looking for in a woman, she's not meeting the qualifications, even though she's making $120,000 a year. And see, that's my point. See, if we even can get back to the point of valuing the things that are important, then I think we wouldn't have as much issue as we're having right now. Let's say, because right now we just have prioritized money. It's like everything is about money. Forget character, forget qualities, forget work ethic, forget drive, forget respect, forget being a gentleman. Like, forget all of that. He ain't making 120, so I ain't got no hollers for him. And see, that's going to end up being a problem because what will end up happening, you know, especially for the ladies in particular. Shout out to Remy Williams for joining us tonight. Appreciate you coming on. Shout out to Remy. What will end up happening is we're gonna end up with a situation similar to what Vince was talking about, where we're gonna have 90% of the ladies trying to pick from 10 to 5% of the dudes.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a whole problem.
Yeah.
Because you just said earlier, Janice, that what you say you ain't gonna fight. What you say you ain't gonna fight for him, or however you said it.
I ain't fighting.
So see, we got a whole problem right there. If you saying that you ain't about to fight for them, it's probably other ladies, you know, who out here doing their thing. They gonna say the same thing. So what we dealing with at that point?
You know what? I would also like to add to that, and I'll close with this. I ain't gonna hold you guys, but I would like to just say, first of all, you already, you know, you took accountability and said this was your mindset, right? That you're working to change that now that you've identified, right? I think that's the first step. Like we do have to identify, right? Because none of us are perfect where we're going wrong. But what I feel like is happening is, in general, there are a lot of women who don't want to really look at themselves and say, it's me. I literally have some things that I need to work on. And we're seeing just like this general resistance to even the possibility that it could be me. When we all know that we've come from broken homes, we've come from, situations where we've been disenfranchised, just like we know the experiences that we've had as, people of color in this country. So there's a level of trauma that we all are operating from. Just a basic level of trauma that we all are operating from. And we all have to heal from that, right? Then you compound on that our experiences that we've had in the past. If we've had bad relationships or things that have happened to us, that also adds a layer. And I think that we all have to sit back we all have to sit back and do some type of self-reflection and going, wait, like, is it me? Right? Like, could I change some things? Could I alter like the way I'm thinking about this situation? I think that for me, I'm more solution based, and like, ladies, the first thing is, and I did this inside. I literally just did this after 14 years of marriage. It actually will be 15 years of marriage tomorrow. After 15 years of marriage, like I did this myself because I have to do self-reflection as well. I literally, minus a job, minus education, minus those things that, society would say grade you on. I had to say, like, okay, what am I actually, what are my attributes? Like, what am I actually bringing to the table that don't have nothing to do with my money or my education? Because I think right now that's what is driving feminine community, right? And so I literally had to sit down and believe it or not, like, y'all, it's a task. Because when you strip away what society is telling you is great about you or what's supposed to define you as a successful person, and you go, that's what they're saying, but what are the values that I can bring to a relationship? How can I nurture children? How can I nurture a relationship? How can I, create a home environment that's productive and, that's nurturing for not just my children, but for a man? How, because I'm basically the CEO of that home, so to speak, or I won't say I'm the CEO. Maybe I'm the VP.
Co-chair.
There you go. But no, but we're making sure things run smoothly, right? That's what we're doing, which is a very, very important job. So if I'm interviewing for that position, what am I bringing to the table? Right? I'm trying to get this position. So they don't care about, what school I went to, because that's not really going to help me with this. And they don't necessarily, don't get me wrong, having a job and making good money is a benefit, but those things aren't going to help me inside this home to manage this home. So what am I bringing to the table? Like, what are my attributes? And the fact that we can't have that conversation, ladies, the fact that someone can ask us that question and we're so offended that we can't answer it, are we offended that they asked, or are we offended because we don't have the answer? We have to sit down and really understand why we're worth what we say we're worth. Why? If you say you need a man that has this kind of money or this, that, and the third, okay, why? You should be able to articulate that. Like, you should be able to articulate it. Do the exercise. Like, I feel like I brought this up before. Sit down and write your attributes. What do you bring to the table? Who are you when you strip away the stuff that people are telling you make you great? Like, who are you? Because those are the things that have a high value to that man that you're trying to get. Those are the things that he cares about. He cares about those things because those are the things that are going to tell him that you can manage his home, that he wants to create for you, that he wants to build for you, that tells him that you can take care of his legacy that he wants to leave, right? Those are the things. And that's what he cares about, not your education, not how much money you make. Not saying that that's not nice. Like, that's icing. But you gotta make the cake first, and it need to taste good without the icing.
I agree with you, Chloe. And that question, men like to ask that question. I already have my list ready, but men, girl, I'd be ready too. But
because every woman should
have
be able to
answer, have it written out, and be ready because they're gonna ask.
Yeah, and every woman should be able to speak to that. And I think that those are the things, but those are the things that we should place a higher value on. Those are the things that we should place a higher value on, even though everything around us is telling us to value money and very materialistic mindset. And I'll just say this about the whole white woman, black man thing, right? I'm just gonna say this. Y'all can disagree. It's okay. I ain't mad. But I'm just gonna say this. A white woman, and I've seen it, that's why I'm saying it, will take that $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year black man, baby, and will be a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, a house, a car, and everything that she needs to live her life with that man. Okay? She will, because she's gonna do what a woman does. She's going to maximize his potential. I'm not saying she's going to, I'm not saying she's gonna make him. That's not what I said. A woman shouldn't have to make a man. That's not what I'm saying. That's not where I'm going with that. But she's going to maximize his potential. So he already has it, right? But she's gonna take what he has and she's gonna maximize that thing. Because that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do. So instead of focusing so much on an exact specific dollar amount, you need to be focusing on the character of that man, because if he has the right character, you're not going to have to worry about if he's going to be able to feed, clothe, or care for you. Period. So we have to change our mindset, ladies. We gotta take some accountability, do some self-reflection, and do the homework. The next time a man, I just seen a video where they asked the lady what she brought to the table, and the girl started talking about a YouTube video she watched. Ladies, don't do that to yourself. I don't want to see another person ask a woman what she brings to the table, and she don't know how to market herself. Because if that was a job interview and a white man was sitting on the other side of that desk, baby, she would have sold herself to filth. But a man that wants to be with you, asks you what you bring to the table, and you got no words. Bruh. We got to do better, ladies.
All right, Vince, it's on you, man. Close us out, man.
Well, first of all, getting back to the topic, I think we just have to be more intentional. We have to be intentional with the people that we date. We need to ask the right questions up front. We don't need to assume. We need, if you're of a certain age and you want something, then you need to start out with that. If you want to be married, I only want to date men who marriage minded. If you're not marriage minded, I don't care how you look. I don't care what you think you're gonna change his mind. Don't do it. I told my sister-in-law, I said, you need to ask the right questions up front, because what we do is we don't ask the right questions. Then we start liking that person. Then it's, well, I ain't dating nobody else, so I'll just waste my time. And you look up 2 or 3 years, you're just wasting time. And to the black-white issue, I believe you find love where you find it. But you have to find it for the right reasons. It ain't because she white. It ain't because he white. It's because I love her or I love him. And really, I don't care. Just like your boy Kevin Samuel say, God rest his soul. I don't care what you want. The answer is, can you get it? If you want a man with money, then can you get a man with money? If that's what you want, can you get it? I don't know. Probably people saying what they want. If you want a Bentley, are you gonna work to get it, or you just gonna manifest a Bentley? And this is really touching, because my mother died. I told you my mother passed about 2 years ago, and she had that same mindset. Oh, he got to do this and he got to do that. And I would say, well, Mama, I mean, at this point, you grown, you got kids. Why you got to make so much money? You should just be working somebody that's going to walk you around this park to help you lose some weight. What? Somebody who going to get your insulin for you. What's wrong with you? At this point, we talk about all this money. We already got kids and houses and got our own life insurance. Why we got to have all that? Now, you done did what you should have thought about that in your 20s. You was trying to build together. Oh my God! Janice, if you find a man making $50,000, that's good. That's good if he got grown kids. Y'all still can go on a nice cruise. Y'all can go to Mexico, Miami every now and again.
I want to go to Greece, man.
Well, you know what, then? Find you a man that can afford Greece and ask him what he want and do it.
There it is.
Find a man who can afford to
in that order.
If he tell you, okay, you got to close your mouth and get on that treadmill, are you going to do it? Yes, Daddy.
Daddy. Oh, hell no.
Exactly. So stay with the 50. So stay with that's what exactly. Stay with the 50 is nice. He want to work with you. It's 50-50. He'll wash some dishes. He'll wash your clothes.
I got a housekeeper, Vince.
He do all that. Hey, I'm just but being serious though. My mother passed in an apartment by herself, having these standards. She didn't have nobody to go out and just to walk around the park. I mean, when you get old, and it's the simple things. It's the real, we want to put all this, but when you get 50s and 60s, I think that when most people get that age, they really see, but then it's too late. I think my mother saw it, but she was 65 years old. It was too big. I'm pretty sure she just wanted somebody to watch Netflix with. Just want somebody who can laugh, with her grandchildren. So let's get back, especially at our age. It's different when you're in your 20s and you're building, you want kids. We got kids, we got all this. Just find somebody with good character that want to love you and want to try his best to take care of you.
Right.
And ain't nobody perfect. Ain't no situation perfect. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you want that, then you got to do what, them women it's about 90% women that Planet Fitness. All the time they stay in the gym. I don't see no sisters in there. Wait a minute. I don't see no sisters with cookbooks, because that's what they want.
Not the cookbook.
We can say
on the treadmill.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. Get with these men, and y'all don't know what these men want. That's what I'm saying. Because you're so used to dealing with the 50, you need to stay with the 50. Because obviously that's what you're trying. Stay with the 50. 50 is good for you.
Ladies, you gotta multitask. You gotta learn how to cook and get fit.
He'll wash clothes and pick up the kid, but the man you talking about ain't got time for all that. He out here getting money. He ain't got to, he want a certain look when he go to his. He don't want all that. The 50 won't mind. My aunt, who was the provider before I took over the business, she got her a nice little $50,000 man because she knew she was a Leo woman.
I'm a Leo.
A Leo woman. Had her own business, her own money, met him later on in life. They had 2 kids. He was a little truck driver, and they had a beautiful life together because she decided, you know what? I'm a bossy woman, and I'm going to need me a beta man. And they sailed on into the sunset.
Oh, look, another Leo.
Kill all this Leo stuff. Kill all this Leo stuff. All right. Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick, and we're gonna get out of here.
Leo.
Like I said, we got to get back to some of our
whole situation.
We got to get back to some of the basics. Get back to some of our traditions. Get back to valuing each other. Like I said, I think some of those basic things will help us get a long way. Like I said, right now we just in so much conflict. We in such a rush. I don't know where the rush is coming from. We in such a rush. But we just skipping over stuff. We're not taking the time to learn, folks. We're not taking the time to court. We're not taking the time to have intent or be intentional about what we out here doing. We got to straighten this stuff up. Yeah, like I said, we cannot continue to go down the road we're going down. We're seeing the outcome now. We're seeing the results. We're seeing all of our single women. We're seeing all of our single fathers. Like we're seeing the outcome of what we are doing. You understand? At the end of the day, we got to make a change before it is too late. Man, shout out to everybody who joined us tonight. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Janice. Shout out to Vince. I know Vince gonna be back next episode with the Oud Wood on deck. We're gonna make that a part of the show. Like I said, we're gonna pay a little homage to Godfather. So, go ahead and set it up, Vince.
I'll make sure I have it.
For sure. And shout out to all the ladies in the comments. Shout out to Erica Arrington. Shout out to our newcomer Remy for checking in.
Hey, my boo, my boo.
And we shout out to all the Leos, all the Leos. It's almost our season.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Shout out to the Leos. When she say Vince always raw like this. Let's say shout out to Erica Arrington. I think I said that. Shout out to Janine as well. Janine Martin. She was dropping mad jewels today. Shout out to Donovan Crawford. Shout out to the brother Rodney checking in from Lansing. Like I said, this is Kandid Konvos. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday night. As you guys see, there is no conversation that we run from. Yep, this ain't about no getting triggered. This ain't about no feelings. These are about real conversations with real people, real perspectives, being transparent. And that is how we get to the next step. That is how we get solutions around these things. And that is how we move our people forward. And that is why we're here. So once again, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. YouTube, the Quay Price page. Go drop a subscribe. We're on Facebook as well. You can catch us at Kandid Konvos on Facebook and also on my Quay Price page as well. So with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday.